There are only three important places in a British person's life: the place they were born, the place they will die, and the pub. And very often for British people, those three places are just one place, and that place is the pub. Other nations refer to them as bars, which is confusing. Bars are where people in shirts and haircuts sell you overpriced bottles of Peroni, and the people you're with can only hear you if you scream directly into their brain. The pub is a glorious tucked away little safe haven with comfy chairs, tasty pints, and thick wooden tables on which people can play a relaxing board game with wholesome chums. Pub board games should be a few things: portable, simple, relatively hard to ruin when your cack-elbowed friend inevitably upends a pint of Nuki Brown, and crucially, games that are aided by tipsiness rather than hindered. With summer around the corner, raise a glass to the perfect pint and play pairing. I'm Adam from No Rolls Barred, and this is a collection starter. This week we're looking at our 10 board games to take to the pub. Cheers. And hey, if this is your first time here at No Rolls Barred, please consider subscribing. Every single subscription makes a massive difference. Seriously, it really helps more than you think. And also, always drink responsibly. That's important for this one. Number 10, Cluster. Dexterity games are a simple pleasure, like a good pint, or your dad. Plus, dexterity games get more fun the more pickled you get. However, most dexterity games people know can be a little risky for the pub, as anyone who's ever had to fish a Jenga block out of their beer can tell you. Thank heavens then for Cluster, a dexterity game that's all about magnets. It's so simple, I can tell you all the rules in exactly 20 words. Players have magnets, rope on table, put magnet inside rope. If magnets connect, keep magnets. First with no magnets wins. It's such a wonderfully tense and simple little game. Watching the roped area slowly filling with magnets. On your turn, slowly trying to lower one magnet onto the table somewhere. Watching the magnets already there twitching and turning. Feeling the magnetic fields in the air. The invisible push and pull. It's a fantastic little physical game that requires a tiny amount of table space. No setup, almost no rules explanation. And it also doesn't involve things falling in your drink, which is a plus. Also, when the magnets just clack together loudly like that, everyone laughs because it's surprising and it's always funny. Number 9, Quarto. Abstract games are great for the pub. I don't know about you, but my skills at chess skyrocket after my opponents had a few vodka tonics. Most pubs have chessboards, checkerboards, backgammon sets if they're a sexy pub. Sexy pub. But try this bad boy for size. It's dirt simple, super fast, and crazy addictive. In Quarto, you have a board that looks like this, and pieces that look like this. Pieces fall into 4 types: tall or short, light or dark, square or cylinder, and hollow or full. The aim of the game is to put down 4 in a row that all share at least one of these 4 qualities. For example, this line would win because they're all squares. This one would win because they're all dark. This one would win because they're all hollow. So far, that's a slightly more complex Connect 4, but here's the twist that really makes the game. On your turn, instead of choosing which piece you're going to play, your opponent picks it for you. It is so much more painful when you fail to spot a potential line of 4 on the board. Hand your opponent what you think is a useless piece, and then they smile and use it to smoke you. Delicious and perfect for a quiet Sunday afternoon at the pub. Number 8, Push It. Another teeny tiny dexterity game in a teeny tiny box. Push It is tabletop bowls, and it's very silly and very fun. Here are all the components. That's it. This is the entirety of the game. You can literally carry it to the pub loose in your pocket. Don't though, you fucking weirdo. It's also as easy to learn as it is to carry. Flick the jack into the middle of the table. Then everyone takes it in turns, flicking one of their 2 pucks from the edge of the table to try and get it as close to the jack as possible without both butt cheeks ever leaving their chair. And any board games with specific butt cheek rules are absolute keepers. The player with the closest puck to the jack after both shots gets a point. If a single player has both of their pucks closest to the jack, they'll get 2 points. If you ever knock the jack off the table, you lose 2 points. First to 7 points wins. The game almost encourages you to take it to the pub with a brilliant extra rule, the obstacles rule. If your puck bounces off anything, for example, a pint glass, then that item's considered in play from now on and can't be moved for the rest of the round. Sorry that you're thirsty, Steve, but I just banked a puck off your pint, so don't go touching it. Just stare at it, stare at the precious life-giving booze, and for God's sake, watch your ass. A fun game that gets more fun the more you've had. Number 7, Zombie Dice. You know what improves massively after a few drinks? Risk management. Look at the British public. That's a nation who knows when it's had enough. Zombie Dice is a simple, portable, and fiendish little game all about rattling bones and not knowing when to say when. On your turn, take 3 dice from the cup. Roll them. If they come up brains, those are potential points for you and set aside. Yummy brains. If they're footsteps, the dice stay with you for the next turn. If they're shotgun blasts, those are set aside too. 3 of those and you're dead. If you didn't die on your turn, you can choose to stop and bank your points. Or you can take another turn, take enough dice from the cup to bring you back up to 3, and roll again. But if you ever die, you lose all the points you've collected that round. It is the simplest possible form of push your luck. Playing it sober is a bit tame, but after a few drinks, suddenly everyone feels the need to be a legend, more often crashing and burning to hilarious effect, or going on a miracle run, the kind of which taverns will sing ballads about for years to come. Number 6, Perudo. Sticking with dice, this game, also known as Liar's Dice, is a stone cold classic. It comes with this little bag, which makes it perfect for traveling, can be played anywhere with even the tiniest flat surface. Everyone starts with 5 dice and a cup. Roll the dice in your cup and look at what you have. Then one player starts the betting, guessing how many of one value of dice are around the table. For example, 4-player game, there will be 20 total dice between all the players, but I can only see mine. Looking at mine, I'll bet that amongst the 20 total dice, there are at least 5 3s. Then it's the next player's turn, and they can choose to raise one of those values, like 5 4s or 6 3s, and keep raising and raising until someone says something crazy like 10 2s. The next player thinks, are you taking the Jimmy piss? And challenges. Then everyone will reveal their dice, and if there are at least 10 2s, the challenger will lose a dice, but if there aren't, the bettor loses one instead. The last surviving person with dice will win. If you're tired of poker and want a slightly more cutthroat gambling experience, Perudo is an addictive little gem, a staple of Peruvian bars, and deserves to be a staple at yours. Number 5, Kingless. I mean, I can't believe it's taken me half the list to get to a fucking card game. Cards and the pub go together like rum and coke, gin and tonic, or shots and shots. There are lots of good pub-suitable card games you've probably heard of. Uno, Exploding Kittens, Cards Against Humanity, although if you bring that last one to the pub will very much hate you. But how about this for one you might not have heard of? Kingless is a game of collecting fantasy dwarves who are the only section of society who likes a drink more than the British. It's a simple game of taking cards, mead, doing what it says on the cards, more mead, collecting valuable cards in front of you, and trying to get rid of your opponent's special cards before they can do the same to you, also booze. There are loads of take card, use card, be a dick to your friend style games out there, but few of them are A, as thematically linked to the pub, or B, as very, very, very pretty indeed as Kingless. Honestly, Gimli never looked so good. Look at the art on these cards. Number 4, Coup. You can trust me, I'm drunk. After 10 years in the business, Coup is firmly regarded as a modern classic. It's a lot of people's first hobby card game that they buy, and it's a pocket full of treacherous bullshit. Forget poker. If you like bluffing your friends over a drink, Coup is for you. There are 5 characters in the game: ambassadors who let you change your cards, dukes who get lots of money, captains who let you steal money from your friends, assassins who let you spend money to murder your friends, and contestants who block assassins. That's it. At the start of the game, you'll get 2 characters, but the twist is they're secret, and on your turn, you can pretend to be any character and attempt to use their ability. If people call you on your BS, you lose a character, but if you were telling the truth, you did have a character card of the ability that you're using, then the person who challenged you will lose a card instead. The last person with at least 1 surviving character wins. It is such a simple but brutal premise. Paranoia colliding with murder, howls of rage colliding with whoops of retribution. It is a rowdy little fucker, perfect for drinks and mean enough to feel great, but a short enough game to avoid hurt feelings so that none of your friends go all Big B from Train Spotting. Number 3, Radlands. Ooh, look, it's my current favorite 2-player game. What a day, what a lovely day. Radlands is Magic the Gathering meets Mad Max, but I don't want to call it Magic Max because that makes it sound like a stripper, and this is not that kind of pub. We've got a full playthrough of the game on the channel. It's lots of fun, but simply put, you've got 3 bases. You can put people in front of bases to protect them and try and damage your opponent's bases. You can chain combo effects. It's wonderful stuff. Problem is, everything you try to do costs water, and water is incredibly scarce. You must not become addicted to water. It will take hold of you and you will resent its absence. It makes the game so taut and intense, forcing you to choose between things that will get you more water later on, or protecting yourself, or actually hurting your opponent. You can never do everything you want, but everything you can do feels incredibly important, like spinning plates, but plates covered in razor wire. It's a perfect pub game game as it hardly takes up any space and can be transported easily. But as an added bonus, the deluxe edition has plastic cards, which makes the game totally safe from spillage. Number 2, Skull. I mean, it's such a pub game, it consists almost entirely of coasters. Some of the most beautiful coasters you'll ever see, by the way. The game is Liar's Dice, but with a bit more bastard to it, which is precisely the sugar daddy likes. Players have a hand of 4 coasters. 3 of those are flowers, 1 of them is a skull. Everyone places one face down in front of them to start. Then, starting with the first player, you can either place 1 more coaster down, or start the betting. And what you'll be betting on is how many coasters around a table you can turn over, starting with your own, by the way, without hitting a skull. The starting with your own part there is super important, and where all the bluffing comes from. Because if I bet and everyone else passes, and I have put a skull into my own pile of cards, I'm forced to turn over one of my own skulls and I'm screwed. I fail that round and I have to lose a card. But it also allows you to be a devilish little butthole. Let's say that there are 8 cards down. I bet 5. The player next to me thinks there's no way Adam would bet that high if he had put a skull down in front of him. So that person bets 6. Everyone else passes, so he turns over his own. That's 2. He needs to find 4 more flowers to succeed and thinks, well, Adam's obviously a safe bet. Turns over my top card, bam, suck my skull, you big silly ass. Cue fists slamming the table, yelps of pain and laughter from everyone else. It's a perfect mix of simple rules, small box, high interaction that makes it perfect for meeting friends at a bar. Just for the love of God, make sure no one actually puts their drink on one of the beautiful coasters, because I've seen it happen and I've killed for less. And number 1, Cockroach Poker. I think of all the games in my collection, I've played Cockroach Poker the most. My friends adore the pants off it. Plus, it's also so tiny, it just lives permanently in my bag, ready to be brought out anytime we stop in for a swift half. It's intensely simple, intensely social, and always draws huge laughs. You have a hand of creature cards, toads, scorpions, cockroaches, etc. On your turn, you simply pass a card face down to someone else and say what it is. This, my friend, is a toad. The person you pass it to can then accuse you of either telling the truth about the card or lying about what the card is. If the accusation is correct either way, the card goes in front of you. If the accuser is wrong, though, the card goes in front of them. You can either make an accusation when you're given a card, or you can do another thing, which is look at the card you've been passed before passing it then to someone else, whilst also saying what it is. Oh, Adam was telling the truth. This is a toad. Or, Sully, Adam was lying. This isn't a toad. This is actually a scorpion. Trust me. I'm drunk. The card can be passed around like that until there's only one person who hasn't seen it, but then they must make an accusation. That's the game. People bluffing, double bluffing, triple bluffing, shouting, "That's not a toad," at each other, erupting in howls of laughter when someone's caught in a toad-flavored lie, and the plays just get more audacious after a few drinks. Perfect social game for any social setting, but especially wonderful at the pub. And that's our list. What's your favorite game to play down the pub? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and share this video around if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to No Rolls Barred for more silly board gaming content. Get on board.